Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chief Executive, McDonough Innovation, William A. McDonough.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk about globally shared prosperity, the idea that we could have a sharing economy of things that are being resourced continuously across generations in safe and healthy ways. So to start, I'd like to look at the Earth and see, as we just did, that it's the sun shining on a rock. Combined with water, we get life, and here we are. And that we are part of a biological metabolism as humans. And in that metabolism, we eliminate the concept of waste. One thing's waste is another thing's food. What if we could design our technical materials so that their waste was food? That would mean the things that we've developed in the last 5,000 years, like computers and cars and washing machines, can actually be seen as products of service. And that the materials that go into them could be put into continuous deployment across generations instead of toxifying or going to waste systems. Because we have created here on this planet a linear economy, which is based on take, make, waste. And the materials were there for the taking. Nature never sent the bill. So if we look at it, we realize it's time now for our species to imagine putting the back into resources. And the idea that we would resource is a key one. And so let us retake, remake, and in the process allow us to restore this beautiful world. So if we design products in a circular economy, we need first to think about qualification before quantification. We don't want to recycle toxins. So with cradle-to-cradle design, we start with health and ecological health. Here's a fabric that we would call a short cycle product, because we have three kinds of cycles: short cycle, medium cycle, long cycle. Short cycle is ephemeral things that are going back to nature quickly or back to industry quickly. Packaging, fabrics, things that are used quickly, paper. And so this is a textile designed so that the water coming out of the mill was clean enough to drink. The chemistry was looked at, 8,000 chemicals, and 38 were selected so that the fabric trimmings are safe enough for mulch for garden clubs, imagine. So the idea of design safe, healthy things and then let them go back to soil or back to industry, short cycle. Now, other things that are short cycle, like plastic packaging, we find quite suboptimal as a system in terms of concentration and flow. It really is a form of plastic entropy. We send these materials out after a first use and lose their value across generations, and we might even burn them and put them in the atmosphere, which, as we know, is something we really don't want to do anymore, carbon in the atmosphere. But if we don't know how to concentrate and flow these materials, we end up with a diaspora of these materials. For example, it is now expected generally that by 2050, that the amount of plastic by weight in the oceans will exceed that of fish. Is this our intention? Design is the first signal of human intention. Is it our intention to fill the oceans with plastic? Because if it is, we're doing great. Is that the plan, or is there another plan? So what would the other plan start to look like? When we look at the circular economy as a strategy, what we realize is that tremendous effort is being made in this regard. The Chinese have created the 13th five-year plan, which is the circular economy. The Europeans are leading in this. Companies like Unilever, you'll hear from, are leading in this. Ellen MacArthur Foundation, terrific work going on in the UK and worldwide. There's tremendous work here that is going on. But it's a design problem, because if we're just going to optimize or minimize what we do today, then we haven't honored our commitment to future generations by designing what they're going to need for tomorrow. So let's imagine a simple little thing like a plastic package for a sachet. And imagine that instead of just watching it disappear into the landscape, not to be collected and flowed, we started imagining that we designed these as things that children would love to collect and use for bag gardens and become food for systems, including safe, healthy food for humans. And we can start imagining that these wastes become literally food. We can also see that in other systems like energy, that there are changes we can make. But also plastics. This is medium cycle products. This is for Berkshire Hathaway. This is a carpet we designed, but the carpet is designed to go back to being carpet. This is storing your raw materials on your customers' floors and staying in relationship. Isn't that amazing? Where should we store our materials? How about with the customers? And then we'll do it again. So our mines are going to change from mining ore at $210 a ton to mining circuit boards at $27,560 a ton of precious metals and rare earths. The mines of the future are our landfills. And as we look at energy, we can either put solar energy out there over a desert and heat it up. That's nice. We got some kilowatt hours. Or we can start to do fantastic optimizations where there's enough energy coming from the solar, but also if we lift them, we can have farming going on underneath. And that becomes solar orchards. And we have animal grazing. We have carbon fixation in roots. We have water retention. We bring the world back to life. And we share the jobs and the joy and the benefits of these intelligent designs. Sorry. Now, the third cycle product is long cycle. This is infrastructure. It lasts for centuries. And these are things that we want to design to be durables, truly durable. It's having a little trouble here. We can design buildings that are reusable and recyclable. That's what we're doing in Amsterdam. There's a new hub for the circular economy being built near Schiphol Airport. Here in India, a factory that not only makes products inside the building, but produces food on the roof for the families that work here and for their community, and while having solar power. So let me wrap this up by just talking about our intention. I'm having trouble with the clicker. Sorry. If all we're going to do is tell the world we're trying to be less bad, tell your children our goal is nothing, and we're trying to be less bad. How are we doing? And if we just say we're going to reduce our carbon emissions or toxic emissions by 20% by 2020 or something, what are we telling the world? We're telling the world what we're not going to do. This would be like hopping into a taxi and saying, quick, I am not going to the airport. Is this going to help us? So what if we take what we don't want, put it below the line and reduce it, figure out what we do want, healthy, safe things for all the children, and put them on the top line. Take an inventory, put our human values of good and bad, not just less and more, and decide what we want and what we don't want and get to work. Because we can offer our children a choice. We can offer them what's on the bottom of this picture, a world that is becoming more full of despair and desperation and loss. Or we can offer them a world that's cleaning up and allowing them to have hope for the future. And our hope for the future is they will be able to say, the world is getting better and there's more to share because we are here. Thank you very much.